time since England went out here. How did it feel to finally get over the line?
Yeah, amazing feeling. 10 runs has never felt so far away when I got out. I didn't want to come back into the dressing room and watch the TV on the delay, so yeah, awesome feeling. Been on a couple tours before where it's not gone too well, so to end up on the right side of the result after a long period of time is a pretty special feeling.
You got a moment to reflect with Joe about the two of you have chased it for a little while, and there's probably a few teammates along the way who've come and gone who haven't been here to see it again.
I'm sure later on tonight might be a few words spoken about it, but yeah, we at the end there when all the boys came out of the dressing room, had a little hug there, and we're like, finally we won one. So yeah, good feeling.
Were there moments in this match that said to you as captain that this was a team that still had the fight that you were asking for, looking for, and ready to keep throwing some punches?
Yeah, look, the couple of days building up to this test match was obviously a difficult one for us, and the way in which the sort of leadership group and myself, Baz, the other coaches and the senior players were able to try and keep as much focus as possible on the cricket that was coming up was very important. And once you do cross that line onto the field, you sort of put everything else to one side, and you obviously focus switches over to what you need to do. But so those moments where you're not on the field, that things can start fluttering around your head. So look, I think the way which we were able to keep that focus as much as we possibly could on the cricket was very important as to why we ended up on the right side of the result. So yeah, interesting test match to be a part of. Pretty tricky conditions throughout the whole game. So yeah, especially with the way that when you have a total on a pretty niggly wicket, you sort of know where you need to be, and there was only one way of going about chasing that tally down, which was to go out there and try and put the pressure on from ball one, to be honest. And then that opening partnership was very, very impressive and was a huge reason as to why we were able to chase a pretty tricky run chase down.
What 1-2-day finish is unusual in the series. Two-day finishes is highly unusual. But do you feel like, as a big sport of Test cricket, is that ultimately good news for the game that things happen, or when you look at it, think probably not as robust as it could be?
Yeah, I don't think. Look, when you go out there and you're faced with conditions, you've got to crack on and deal with it. But being brutally honest, that's not really what you want. Boxing Day Test match, you don't want a game finishing less than 2 days. Not ideal, but can't change it once you start the game, and you just got to play what's in front of you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if that was somewhere else in the world, everything would be hell on. Yeah, not the best thing for games that should be played over 5 days, but we played a type of cricket that ended up getting the job done.
Okay, we'll go to Will on our right, and then Chris, and then Dan.
Can I ask about Brian Clark's promotion to number 3? Whose idea was that? Where was it conceived? How did that come about?
Yeah, it was something. Even when we came off, I think when we were still bowling, we were sort of discussing around. When we do come to bat, what do we think we should try and do? There was a bit of a dumb moment from me, to be honest, because I was like, oh well, of course he's got a bad leg, why don't we send him up as 3? And then I realised after about 15 minutes that we can't bat till 8 anyway because he's been off the field, so that quickly went out the window. But look, that wicket was very tricky, especially with a newer ball, and yeah, the top order from both teams were sort of struggling to find a way to consistently be able to, score runs or feel any fluency. So yeah, we went with an idea of sending someone who's got talent with the bat and a very good eye for hitting the ball, that even if he gets a quick 20, quick 30, that's massive in a very small run chase. Unfortunately, it didn't quite come off for us, but even the 15, 20 minutes that he spent out there, I think made it a little bit easier for Beth to come in and build the innings that he did. But yeah, that opening partnership between Beth and between Zach and Ducky was a huge reason as to why we chased that total down. You got two unbelievable players throughout both teams there who, found it tough. So I think that says a lot about the conditions that we're faced with.
You mentioned Ben there, quite a tricky week, not outside the Louise to play that in. So it's pretty great if you but it's quite healthy.
Yeah, definitely, and look, that was the way that was. I think your best possible way of being successful out there was looking to be very proactive against a very good bowling attack who are relentless in their line and length. On a wicket like that, you can't allow bowlers to be able to just run up and put the ball where they want to without putting them under some kind of pressure. And you've seen when Zach and Ben started building a partnership, the field started to go back and then we're able to rotate. And I think as well, Zach identified that moment and then sort of played slightly different. It wasn't just the boundaries that were allowing us to tick that total down, it was the ones and twos and the running between the wickets. And I was very pleased with the way that we went about that and how brave we were and committed to a style of play that we knew was the best chance of us chasing that down.
Okay, we'll go Chris and then Dan. Go ahead, Chris.
Ben, you guys have knocked off some pretty well chases really long time as captain. Given the conditions here and I guess the circumstances the team found themselves in this week, is that one satisfying a lot?
We've obviously chased some big totals down before. Scores of over 350 in the fourth innings is a pretty good effort that we've managed to do on a couple of occasions, but chasing down 170 on a wicket like that was never ever going to be easy. So I think when you put everything into consideration with the build-up to this test match, the conditions that we were faced with to chase 170 down, you could almost say that felt like 340. It was tough, but yeah, I love the way that we went about that. We just didn't let a very good bowling attack feel like they were able to settle into the areas that they wanted to be able to bowl to give them the best chance of taking our wicket.
Dan, go ahead.
Ben, you said that you're pretty sure if that was somewhere else in the world that there'd be some criticisms of it. You were alluding to perhaps Western criticisms with new pitches in the past or Asian pitches, and as an extension, what would your feedback to the match referee be about?
It's your words, not mine. That one.
What about your feedback?
Won't be the best.
Was that?
Won't be the best.
We'll go Barrett on our right, and then we'll go Simon, Dan, Lawrence at Barrett.
Ben, obviously it's taken you a long time to win this first test in Australian soil. How important is it, even if the Ashes are lost for, say, Josh Town or Jacob Bethel in particular, to get that out of the way early in their career, and the way Town bowled and Bethel batted today as well?
Yeah, I think it will mean a hell of a lot to everyone. You've got people at different parts of their careers in international cricket where it's some of their first experience of being in Australia, and then you got me and Joe who have came here a few times and been on the wrong end of the result quite a few times. But I think we will all share that same satisfaction of winning a game out here, and adding to it that it was a Boxing Day Test match, which is a very big sporting event that we're lucky enough to be able to play in. So yeah, there'll be all different types of emotions, I think, associated with this victory. So look, we're obviously very proud and buzzing that we've managed to get this. So yeah.
And just on Bethel, there's been a lot made about not having a first-class 100, and you guys really trust him to bat the way he did in that run chase. Like, how impressed were you with that?
Yeah, very impressed. Look, obviously Beth's been a part of the England setup now for a couple of years, and there's obviously been a lot spoken about his track record before progressing into the international scene, and it is understandable, but we know the quality that Jacob Bethel possesses. He's very young and he's got a long time ahead of him at the highest level, whether that be at international level or franchise level, whatever it may be. So I think it was a very calm and measured approach on such a inexperienced player. So It would have been. I'm sure he would have loved to have been able to walk off there, not out. But gosh, he's pretty unlucky to smoke one straight to cover there in that situation. But yeah, it was very impressive watching him construct that innings in the way that he did.
Go Simon and Dan at the back of the room, please.
Just related to Beth, really, what impressed you about his innings, and would that have been his own decision to rank the first ball after tee, or was there a discussion about that?
Well, I definitely didn't tell him to do it because I can't play that shot. So, I think, look, when obviously Alex Carey's been phenomenal behind the stumps for Australia, and then you have to, find a different mode of scoring when the keeper does come up to the stumps. When he's back, that's when we look to get down the wicket and maybe stand outside of our crease. Then when he comes up, you feel like there's a few more dismissals in play. So, look, again, Scott Boland is, phenomenally accurate in what he does. He operates in a way that's, very, very consistent. So, in terms of that decision to be able to do that straight after a break, I think it showed bravery, and a courageous way of taking it on. And we needed to be brave and courageous in chasing this run tally down on that type of wicket. So, look, he obviously played that reverse and then makes the bowler sort of sit back a bit, and then he gets a half volley next ball and crunches it through the covers for four. So
you're saying in a way that it's important to be brave, but also to be smart about it, to be strategic, which I guess that helps.
yeah, definitely. I think you don't underestimate the impact that a certain shot or a certain intent does do to a bowler, and how that affects them when they run up and bowl their next ball. He got a ball that Scott Boland doesn't bowl too often. So look, you've got to be brave and courageous in the way that you play the game, especially on a wicket like that. If it was a flat, pretty placid surface, I don't think you'd see too much going on like that elsewhere.
Dan?
And I just wanted to ask you, given the 15 years between Ashes with Korea and in Australia, do you think that will help some of your younger players looking at the future tours, having some, I suppose, happy memories of winning a game in Melbourne and winning one from that?
I don't know really. It'll be another 4 years till we come back here. I guess now there won't be that narrative written that we haven't won a game, and so that goes back to zero now. I'm not sure, to be honest. We know Australia is a very hard place to come and win a game, let alone a series. But yeah, as I said, we've got guys at this end of their career, we've got guys at the start of their career, and quite a lot of the players in that dressing room next door will have a lot more opportunities to be able to come to Australia and win games of cricket for England.
Lawrence, and then we'll do 3 more. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Ben, I know Jacob batted at 4 today, but is it an innings like that the first step on the road to him being England's permanent number 3?
Well, it certainly doesn't do him any non-favours. Like he played well coming in under, obviously a little bit of pressure with where the team results were at before this game. So, look, he got a unplayable delivery first innings. So then to go out there and play the way that he did there, I think shows a lot about his character and the confidence that he has within himself. So yeah, something for Beth to be able to build on, definitely.
Stefan and Matt.
You might not know an answer to this because there's a lot going on, but how's this?
Yeah, obviously disappointing to see him go off the field. Obviously, I'm not part of the medical team, so I'll leave that up to them. But yeah, I'm sure, as always, whenever a player leaves the field, that there'll be all the scans, and then we'll just have to wait and see.
You've lost a lot of experience in the bowling attack over the last few years for various reasons, and Anderson, Broad, Wokes, even Martin and Jock Archer leaving this tour. It felt like a bit of a window into the future this week with Jock, Gus and Ryder playing together for the first time in a test match. What do you think about that attack going forward and the experience that those guys have had and what you can build around?
Yeah, I think obviously we're in the here and now, but when you go down a certain way and a certain path with building a bowling attack, you're you know, in 2-3 years' time, you know, who knows where those players will be. You know, we might see, you know, some other bowlers get given an opportunity along that road. But yeah, I've been very pleased with the moments and games where, you know, different bowlers have been able to stand up. You know, we've been, you know, disappointed as a bowling group knowing that we haven't been able to execute the plans that we wanted to for long enough. But I thought this week we were very, very good in doing that for longer period of times. And obviously on the surface that's quite helpful for that. When you put the ball in the right area, you're giving yourself a chance.
Matt?
Thank you. Could I just ask you about Josh Dunn specifically and his performance with the Test? Obviously got some pretty long spells and I suppose that bravery picked it up yesterday.
Yeah, he's to be honest, I think that India Test last year where Wokesy went down, I think did him so much confidence. You know, he's had his injuries, and you know, when you do have injuries, you do tend to lean on the side of caution towards things. But I think that Test match did so much good for him, knowing that he can bowl long spells and then he can come back and back that up. And he's reaped the rewards since he's, you know, been given the opportunity out here. I think he's got those natural attributes, in particular to right-handers with his release point and how he constantly makes right-handers feel like they need to play the ball. And as I say, he's just got that natural wicket-taking ability that is so hard to come by. But yeah, he should be very, very proud of himself, the way that he's operated this game. Bowled some long, big spells, and he's also backed it up. So yeah, he's been phenomenal in the 2 opportunities that he's been given so far this series.
And last one here in the white t-shirt, go ahead.
Yeah, Ben, I'm just interested in some insight as to whether or not you felt like you were going to change the new ball from Bryden to Josh at any point. Obviously came off 5 wickets in the first innings, and throughout the coverage of this Test there was a little bit of talk about Bryden's records left hand, obviously Harmison, Jack Weber all over the batting for a show. Is that something you have to consider throughout this Test? And just broadly speaking, Bryden's performance throughout the Test, I felt like he got a little bit better as a Test went on, particularly in that second innings.
No, Bryden and Gus are always going to be our new ball bowlers. You know, Gus's accuracy is, you know, one of his biggest traits, and you know, I think it was, we noticed with Bryden, I think you probably noticed how much he stayed over the wicket this game compared to the other ones, and yeah, just being pretty clear to Bryden about, you know, what plans that we want him to run up and try and execute, but also understanding that you know, executing plans can be a lot harder than you sort of how you say it or think in your head. But you know, in moments when he got given the ball, this game in particular, I thought he was awesome. You know, when he gets into a spell and everything's flowing good and he's got good rhythm, he's proper, and he's someone that I know that wherever the game's going, however many overs he's bowled or whatever it may be, he's just going to keep running in and trying to give his absolute best for the team and the shirt. So yeah, look, he's someone who takes wickets as well, and you need 20 wickets to win a Test match.
Ali, quick one, never done.
Ben, we obviously saw you Christmas Eve, and it looked like there's, you know, 3-0 down, there's a lot of stuff going on off the field. It looked like you sort of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders a bit. Just wondering what this win has done for you personally.
Christmas Eve is always special because my wife absolutely loves Christmas, and I just have to say yes to whatever she says. So yeah, look, this win does mean a lot. Been over here a few times and not managed to get a win. And there's also that same thing where before this game started, we knew what we wanted to achieve out of these 2 games. So we're not going to let the feeling of this victory flow on further than it needs to. We've obviously got a few more days to rest and recover before we start again at Sydney. But we'll be going into Sydney with the exact same mindset that we had towards this game, which is to win another game of cricket in Australia.